Hello everyone, I am Aniwesh Kumar Tiwari. Welcome you all to this genius session of getting started with open source, where two GDSCs are collaborating together to bring this event for all of you. I hope you will enjoy this event. So before we will start, make sure to keep these three things in your mind that your audio and video will be turned off. If you have any queries, write down in the chat section and we will take your queries in the end. And don't try to create a spam. Okay. Our agenda for, as you all know, this is a 2 day workshop. So in our first day, means today, we will know what is open source. And tomorrow, we will do projects on open source and we'll create our first PR. So what we are going to do today, first of all, we will go through the introduction of open source, what is open source, and then we will look towards some famous open source organizations which are very beneficial in our daily life. Then we will look on the benefits of open source, and we will look at open source calendar, means different open source event that happens throughout the year, so that you will collaborate in this open source. On second day, means tomorrow, we will learn the introduction to Git and GitHub. We will learn how to install Git. We will learn the basic of Git commands, and getting familiar with GitHub means we will learn the features of GitHub, how to fork, how to send a pull request, and all different features of GitHub. And in the last, we will uh, create our first PR. Means you all will create your first PR, and your first PR will be merged by us, so that your GitHub account will show that you have one PR merged. So without wasting our time, let's get started. Before I will start, I'm thankful to Srishti, uh, who collaborated with us to bring such an awesome genius event. So let's get started. What is open source? The term open source refers to something that people can modify and share, and its design is publicly accessible. Uh, this is the definition of open source on opensource.com. Let me elaborate it for you that open source is something where anyone can modify, anyone can share. If someone can share, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Means anything that is publicly accessible and can be shared easily is said to be open source. Here are some examples of open source organizations, means the organizations that are open in nature, which are free to use. TensorFlow, Linux. Linux, as you all know, Linux is a famous operating system. It is a kernel. Apart from that, Mozilla Firefox, Postman, it is used to create API. Our famous language Python and Git. These all are open source. Now we will look why and how to contribute in open source. First of all, the first question is that is open source for me? If this is your question, then let me tell you that open source is for everyone. Either you are a college student, you are a working professional, or you are a school student. Everyone can contribute in open source, and it is very simple to contribute in open source. We will tell about it in our tomorrow session, then that how you will contribute in open source. But for today, let's discuss these things. Why open source now? What are benefits? Why someone will contribute in open source, and what we will get? The first thing is that you will learn. Means as all of you are a student, either you are from sophomore or you are from first year, or few of you are from third year too. And after fourth year, after completing your BTech, you will go in the industry where you will work on real problems, and there you are all, excuse me, and here you are, what you are doing is just learning theory. So it acts like a bridge between industry and your college. So in open source, you will work on real projects, and on real projects, you will learn a lot of things. Means how to contribute and all the things. Apart from learning, you are also volunteering. Means you are contributing to something that is for the people, for the benefit of the people, and you are contributing for the welfare of the society. Apart from that, you will build your portfolio also. If you are an active participant at different open source organizations, uh, it means that you are very serious to development, and obviously your resume will be accelerated if you are contributing to open source. Apart from that, you will also practice skills. Means contributing in on daily basis will help you to accelerate your skills also. And many of people used to join open source organizations, and they learn skills because that particular skills is required for that open source organization. Apart from that, contributing, which is a pleasure, which will be pleasure for you. Means if you are contributing to project, suppose you are contributing to a to Python project, and after your contribution, uh, you are going to add a feature that is useful for the society, that is useful for the woman. So you will get a pleasure, and this is very important thing. And you will receive swags too, swags and stipend also, that you will receive from different open source event that happens throughout the year. So these all are the benefits of open source. Why also try to open source? Okay, how to contribute in open source? We have our lecture. We have our workshop tomorrow. So attend our workshop, and you will get to know how to contribute in open source. Don't worry if you know nothing, because we will start from the very beginning. First, we will mm, cover how to install Git, and then we will, excuse me, cover all the topics related with GitHub. And in last, we will create our first PR. So don't worry, we will cover everything tomorrow uh, about how to contribute in open source. Now, here are some famous projects, some famous open source event that you must know, which are very beneficial for you to accelerate your skills, your resume, and also you will get much stipend from these events. So let's get started. The first one is MLH Fellowship. Uh, I have placed it on first place because the last date to apply for MLS fellowship is September 13th, and its application is running currently. So we are going to host another event with Abhishek Kumar, who is MLH fellowship student from the summer batch of 2021, and he will explain you in details about MLH fellowship. And I will suggest every one of you to apply for MLH fellowship. We will explain in our upcoming sessions that will be held after 4 or 5 days how to write a good essay to get selected for this MLH fellowship event. So stay updated with us, and if you have not followed our uh, pages on LinkedIn, then go and follow so that you will get uh, notified about it. So, let's talk about MLH fellowship. Actually, there are total 3 events that happens throughout the year for MLH fellowship. The first one is fall, uh, which is running on currently. The last date to apply is 13th of September, and the second one is spring. The last date to apply for it is first week of January, and the third event will happen in summer. The last date to apply is second week of May. You will get a huge stipend here, about 5,000 US dollars, which is approximately 3,50,000 in Indian rupees. The duration of program is 12 weeks, and definitely you will learn a lot from MLH fellowship. So I will suggest you to apply for MLH. The second one is Hacktoberfest. Hacktoberfest, if you are a beginner to open source, if you have not contributed anything in open source, then I will suggest you to start with Hacktoberfest, because Hacktoberfest will come in the next month, means the month of October. And what you will get if you if you will create more than 4 PR, then you will receive a swag, a T-shirt as a swag, and the duration of program is 1 month. So if you are a beginner and you don't know anything about open source, then attend our workshop, which will be held tomorrow, and practice, then apply it on Hacktoberfest, and win your goodies. So our next is the Linux Foundation. Uh, the students who are from Siliguri Institute of Technology, one of I think you all know that one of your senior, Nivedita Prasad, got selected for LFX this year. So uh, it happens thrice a year. Its stipend is up to 3,000 US dollars, and the Linux Foundations, different projects of Linux are there. So what you have to do, you have to contribute in those projects, and on the basis of that, they will select you for LFX fellowship, and the stipend is 3,000 US dollars, and duration of program is 12 weeks. Uh, Apart from that, very famous Google Summer of Code. Google Summer of Code. The last date to apply means the timeline for Google Summer of Code. Keep it in mind. It's happened in March each year. Means you have to apply by March, and its stipend is 1,500 US dollars for Indians, and the duration of program is 10 weeks. This is very famous in our Indian continent, and I will suggest to all of you to apply for Google Summer of Code. And for applying in Google Summer of Code, you must be familiar with different organizations. Means the organization that Google Summer of Code selects. So, in order to get selected for Google Summer of Code, you have to start contribute in those organizations from the very beginning, so that the mentors, the admins of those organizations will be familiar with you, and they will select you when Google Summer of Code will start. Uh, Another one, Girl Script Summer of Code. If you are a very beginner and you want to start your open source contribution as a beginner level, then I will suggest you for Girl Script Summer of Code. Its application comes in the month of February, and the stipend means you will receive, and top performers receives goodies from Girl Script Foundation. Its duration is 2 months, but it is very beneficial for those who are beginners. Apart from that, outreach. This is also very famous, and if I will talk in terms of stipend, then its stipend is maximum to all the open source event that I have discussed today. The timeline the timeline for outreach is twice a year. The last date for winter one was yesterday, but you will apply for summer too. The duration of program is 3 months, and you will receive a stipend of 6,000 US dollars. The best thing about outreach is that you have to apply for it, and then there will be a open source event of 1 month where you will get some projects. If you will be able to do that project, then on the basis of that you will get selected for outreach. And the next one is summer of Bitcoin. Summer of Bitcoin. It is for those people who are enthusiastic about cryptocurrency and are contributing in cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. I will suggest you to apply for summer of Bitcoin. The last its date are not clear, means when the application will come, but most probably the forms are out in the mid. I'm sorry, I have done some mistake here. Wait a minute, let me correct it for you. The last date to apply for summer of Bitcoin is not mid of September, it's mid of July. And you will receive a stipend of 15,000, 2,500 US dollars in the form of Bitcoin. The duration of program is 10 to 12 weeks. So if you want to keep your hands dirty in blockchain and cryptocurrency, then I will suggest you for summer of Bitcoin. And that's all for today. Uh, you may ask any question if you will have any. Yes, Srey, if I am correct, if I am pronouncing your name correct. Yeah, it's for beginners. Okay, Sony, MLH, we have a session on MLH in 2 or 3 days, and there you will know everything about MLH. Uh, in that session, we will discuss about how to write a good essay in order to get selected for MLH and all the things related to MLH. We have our guest speaker, Abhishek Kumar, there, and he will explain everything about MLH. Okay, okay. I will share my PPT. Will you please drop down your mail ID? No, the only prerequisites is your enthusiasm. If you are enthusiastic towards open source, and if you are willing to do something, then you will start open source. No text is required for open source. In our tomorrow session, we will explain more about it. If you are willing to start open source, just start from today. Okay, Manjeet, I will share the PPT with you. Wait a minute. Kandelwal, I will try to host session daily. Okay, for those people who wish to have PPT, uh, all of you are requested to follow me on my LinkedIn or try to connect me on my LinkedIn page, and I will share you there because I got a lot of mail there. Okay, for web development, Shomudeep, we are going to host a session on web development too. So stay updated with us. Okay, I'm going to share my profile. You all are requested to follow, connect me on LinkedIn, and here I will answer your DMs. Suhas, I am not an Android developer, so we will try to keep a session on Android development too. But I'm not an Android developer, so I can't help you in Android development. I have shared my profile, Anushka. Okay, for those who want, let me share you. Uh, this is our very first sessions, and we are focused towards open source. We will host our events on ethical hacking means cybersecurity too in upcoming days. Stay updated with us. I have shared my GDSC page. You may follow us. Okay. Uh, those who don't have any question may leave the meeting, and I hope I will see all of you in our tomorrow's workshop.